Okay, our film, I'd say pretty much adheres to the typical codes and conventions. It's like very much like Scream. We likened it to. It's stuff like teenage girl alone in the house at night and the mysterious figure of the killer that you never see his face and typical things like that.
The blood contrasted on white surfaces and bloody hands and
dark rooms.
So just the typical conventions of horror.
Yeah. Okay, in terms of characters, the victim is like a young girl, which was again like very typical of this sort of horror genre, and she's sort of displayed as like defenceless and completely at the whim of this psychopath murderer. There's not a lot said about the murderer, which again I thought was sort of typical. He's you never see his face, just sort of figure in the distance or close up, but never anything more telling than that, really.
And we'd say that the social group is roughly around D or E, because she's basically like a student, and well, they're both really like casual workers, so they don't earn that much. So yeah. We decided to we think the film studio that would distribute our media product would be Dimension, because Dimension was used for Scream, and we think that Scream has a sort of similar storyline to that of ours, so we think that would work.
Same sort of appeal. The conventions of the two, ours and Scream, were like very similar. We were heavily influenced by it when we were coming up with it, so yeah, I'd definitely say Dimension.
The audience that we were trying to attract really was around like 16 plus, just typical teenagers, not like a specific sex, mainly both of them. More so I would say male, because of the conventions of the young girl and you know, the murderer and stuff. But it's more like social groups would go, it's not really a film that you would just go on your own to. So we're attracting like teenagers.
I'd say younger audiences are the ones that go to cinemas for like thrill seeking, to go and see something that will try and make them jump and scare them, rather than older people who possibly look for you know, character relations and films with more interesting storylines and romances and so on. So definitely a younger audience, yeah. In terms of demographics, I'd say that the film would be aimed at social groups from E up to C2, because generally generally those demographic groups reflect the scope of the audiences we'd aim at, essentially.
By what we learnt from the prelim task, in terms of working as a group, we were able to discuss ideas and talk about the shots and which shots we would like to use and which shots we had to use, and we were able to take it in turns and use the camera, which helped a lot when like doing our actual production. We used the match on action and the 180 degree. Well, we tried to use the match on action, but we didn't actually attempt that. In the end, we did use the 180 degree rule, which we were asked to do, but the production was a lot more planned, and because of the blogging we were able to we're able to
plan it more.
plan it more. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely learned something from it because I'd used cameras and editing software before, but in terms of doing it for certain media, it was in terms of Final Cut Pro using new software, that was difficult and something new to learn. And in terms, especially blogging, that was something I'd never done before, and it helped us to structure how to get it together and meet deadline, and rather than just do it on spur of the moment and off the top of your head. Definitely learnt about planning it all and bringing it together that way.